Hello everyone, and thanks for joining me. I was hoping to talk to you outside, but it's been very blustery overnight. We had gusts up to 45 miles an hour. It's very windy out there at the moment, so I'm taking refuge inside the boat. Hi, and thanks for joining me. Rather than do a normal video with lots of footage about this, that and the other, I would just chat to you about things that have been happening recently, things I've done on the boat, that sort of thing. First of all, I wanted to thank all the new subscribers that are watching, and in particular I'd like to thank all of you that commented when I did the vlog on Where's Jasmine. It was particularly noticeable to me that many viewers or subscribers who had never commented before did on that occasion. So I want to thank you all for your lovely, caring and thoughtful comments when I mentioned that Jasmine and I had split up. And as always, as I say, give a big welcome to any new viewers that are watching at the moment. It's good to have you along. I did mention in my my last cruising vlog about viewer numbers, and I don't really want to go into that now, but I have got a few extra subscribers since I mentioned that, but the numbers are up and down constantly. It really is very, very annoying. So today I wanted to talk to you about the summer cruise that has just ended. And I wanted to mention that there will be a bonus episode, because whilst I didn't film on the way back, there was an incident on my return on the Coventry Canal where the canal was very low on water. And whilst I was coming back, although I was doing some casual filming, I wasn't doing any filming for a particular episode or anything like that. But when I realised the pound was low on water, I thought, well, maybe I should film this. So there is a bonus episode coming, so look out for that. In fact, that will probably be the next video I publish after this one. So what can I say about my summer cruise? I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I want to tell you a little bit about the planning and thought that went into that. Originally, I was thinking in terms of doing an 8-week cruise. That had to be shortened because I had to attend a family wedding in the middle of that period. But I always plan a year ahead. Well, you know, in the winter time, I'm looking forward to next year and thinking, well, what am I going to do next year? And I'm already thinking about next year. I won't say too much about that now, though. But coming back to the summer cruise, I was out for about 4 weeks. As I said, I had to get back to attend a family wedding. And the way I approach that is that I film every day. And at the end of the day, I edit. So I'm filming, editing. And I like to start the editing for each individual episode. As the days progress, that becomes more difficult because I don't know where the natural stop and the natural start is going to be. Some people have the knack of being able to film for a day and getting an episode from that day. Sometimes I get 2 or 3 episodes from a day's filming, and sometimes I get a part of an episode. But I never really know. But it was very tiring looking over the 2-week period that I was filming. And I was able to do what I achieved in this particular series mainly because the weather was so good. I was so lucky with the weather. I really couldn't believe it. I did have a couple of layover days. One was for the sun. It was going to be exceptionally hot. And the other was for the rain. It rained the next day. But apart from that, I cruised every day. And what I'm trying to get across to you is that I only achieved what I achieved, I think, partly because of the weather, partly because I was by myself and could give it more time on the filming and more time on the editing. Had I been with someone, that would have been very different. And I feel going ahead that I need to perhaps do things slightly differently, because I don't think I can ever better this last cruising series. I don't think that's going to happen, and I don't want to attempt to do anything better. So looking ahead, perhaps I'll change the style a bit. I don't want to change the effect that it has on the viewer. I want the viewer to get the same experience from my videos, but I need to think about the amount of time that goes into filming during the day, what I do in the evenings when I'm out cruising, and I'd like to keep the films more current. It's taken me something like 4 months to publish my summer cruising series, which has benefits in itself, and initially I thought, well, I won't film anything else in between. But I then lose touch with you, my viewers, and you are the ones that I need to keep in touch with. So I want to go ahead into the next year and do things slightly differently. More chats. A lot of you have said you like the chats, and I think we did a lot of chatting. Well, when COVID was on, I think that was when we started the chats, because we couldn't do any cruising. It gets a bit monotonous showing you marina life and the washing and the cleaning the toilet, all that sort of thing. And we just did chats about anything. And viewers seem to enjoy that. And viewers do seem to enjoy when I just sit and chat like I'm doing now. And I think I want to do more of that in the coming year. But also, it's important that I give you the variety that I have been given. I know it's about narrowboating, and I know that not everyone wants to see other things other than narrowboating, but I have got a lot of projects on the go. Some of you have been asking about road trips. When Jasmine and I were in Northumberland, on the way back, we came across the Yorkshire Dales. And I have another video coming up about a road trip across the Yorkshire Dales and looking in at 1 or 2 special places that were used in the filming of the TV series All Creatures Great and Small. You'll hear more about that when that particular video is published. I've also been to the museum, Western Zoyland Pumping Station Museum, where many of you know I am a trustee of the charity Western Zoyland Engine Trust that runs that. On Bank Holiday Monday we had our annual railway gala, and the day before we had a photo charter. What was special about this was that for the first time ever we had a visiting steam locomotive, and I filmed that. I'm making a couple of films from that. I know these won't appeal to all of you, but it is part of my life, and I am making a record of things that I do, which I'm sharing with all of you. So I hope you'll look out for those. I've also been to a couple of other attractions. I won't say too much about those, but there's a lot of work to be done. One of the difficulties when you go to something like an historic house, for example, is there may be some general background noise, which is okay. Sometimes it's very silent. Sometimes you can be at an attraction where there's shrieking children, they're crying or screaming or whatever. You don't really want that in your film. Getting the balance right and the sound is very important to me. And that's why sometimes I use music, sometimes I don't. I do like natural sounds, but the editing of some of these types of programs can be very difficult indeed, just to try and get the feel across. And music is a good way of linking disconnected scenes, if you like, together. It brings them in as one and it makes it flow better. But selecting music is very subjective, because you've all got different ideas as to what you like, what you want to hear and that. And I think on the whole I get it reasonably correct. I do remember using some music once which people just didn't like, and I think I've avoided using that again, but it is very difficult at times to select the right music. So over the coming weeks and months, I've got a lot to be working on. And I'm going to keep the vlogs coming, so don't worry about that. The other thing to mention is things that I've done to the boat. A lot of you know that I've had trouble with batteries. When I first bought the boat, there were 4 batteries. There were 2 batteries in the engine bay and 2 batteries literally beneath the seat where I'm sat. The surveyor told me that all the batteries should be together, so eventually the 4 batteries were moved to be together. It was 2 batteries of one type and ampage and 2 of a different type and different ampage. 2 years ago I decided to correct that. I bought 4 new batteries, all fitted together. Unfortunately, one of them wasn't connected properly, which caused problems. I then got them all connected in the way they should be. Then earlier this year, one of the batteries went duff. It overheated, it smelt, it expanded, the casing of the battery expanded. So that one was replaced by itself. And the advice is that if you have one duff battery, you have to replace all of them. And I've got a battery bank of 4. I was trying to avoid replacing them until next year, but on a recent cruise I realised the batteries aren't right, and I have just recently replaced all 4, and many thanks to Pete for his help in doing that. And I have bought the same batteries that I had previously, although they are badged slightly differently with regards to the ampage on the C20 and C100 settings. I thought I was buying 120 amp batteries that worked at 120 amp hours on the C100 setting and 100 amp hours on the C20 setting. But these are actually branded 90 amps instead of 100. It's confusing, and I think I'm confusing myself at the moment, so I will try and explain that on another occasion, I think, because I haven't got any notes or anything with me, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I have 4 new batteries fitted, which is wonderful. But before I had the batteries fitted, a couple of months ago, I changed the inverter on the boat. The boat was built and it had a Sterling 1 kilowatt inverter fitted at the time. That was in 2005. I'm pretty certain the inverter that was on the boat was the original one. It was what they call a quasi-sine wave inverter, and that doesn't have the same facilities or capacities as a pure sine wave inverter. And I've changed that now for a 2 kilowatt pure sine wave inverter. What that allows me to do is charge the batteries for my portable drill, for example, my cordless drill I should say. I couldn't charge the batteries on that before using the inverter. So if I was out cruising and wanted to do some drilling and needed to charge my batteries, I couldn't do it. I can do that now, and likewise with other cordless equipment I have, I can charge the batteries. And that's all come because I've changed to a pure sine wave inverter. Sorry, I'm getting a bit mixed up here. Getting rather excitable as well, which is not what I want. I normally talk quite slowly, don't I? I've got a lot going through my head at the moment that I'm trying to remember and pass on to you. So I've changed the inverter this year. I've got 4 new batteries, and also I have a 3rd solar panel being fitted, hopefully this week. So I'm looking forward to that. I gave all this a lot of thought when I was out cruising. Didn't think the boat on the electric side was quite up to snuff, and I thought, well, how am I going to change things? And I've been doing that with the inverter, the batteries and the solar panel. So hopefully next year when I go cruising, things will be a lot better on that front. And I hope to go out cruising in the winter as well, so there will be more film or cruising videos coming. But meanwhile, as I said, I've got a lot of other bits and pieces on the go. I'm going away for a few days, so after this one, the next video I publish will be next week. This is very current. It is Tuesday the 1st of November when I'm filming this, so this is very current, probably the most current I've been in getting my message across to you. In case some of you are wondering what this is behind me, it's marked onions, but it's actually got pegs in it. Not that I use a lot of pegs, but that's what sits in this here. So, what else is there to say to you? I've just wanted to chat. I wanted to thank you for your ongoing support and encouragement, your comments. The comments do mean a great deal to me. I've said before I want to welcome any new viewers that are watching. It's great to have you all along. It is very much a global channel. When I look through all the different countries which sort of follow me, I've got viewers literally all over the world. And that's really pleasing to know. Obviously a lot of them are UK based, but I've got America obviously, Australia, Canada, New Zealand. Then there's a lot of European countries, there's a lot of Asian countries. It's quite amazing where people come from. At the moment Norway is top of the list. I don't understand it, but big hello to anyone that's watching in Norway. Other countries that have been top of the list in the past have been quite surprising. South Korea, Poland, all sorts of places you wouldn't really think of as being the top earners. But it is fascinating to me where people do view from. And it's good to have you all along, so keep it up. I'm just looking at some notes. I did have a few notes here, but I've mentioned a lot of things, what I'm working on and that sort of thing, and I just wanted to say hello and keep in touch really. That's the reason for doing this today. So I think that's about it. I seem to have been speaking a lot more quickly than I usually do. I think that's because I've got so much to say and I wanted to say it as quickly as possible whilst it's fresh in my mind. So just to recap, many thanks to all of you for your lovely comments about Jasmine and I. It is a shame that things didn't work out, but that is life and these things happen and we have to move on. Many thanks for your support generally, your comments, your encouragement from all over the world. It means a great deal to me, so keep that coming please. I always look forward to reading your comments. The cruising series has gone down particularly well and I was so pleased with how it came out myself, and I think the weather was the key player in that. Had I filmed the return journey it would be nothing like the outgoing journey. So I think that has been a great success. I'm thinking about the style of filming going forward because I use a lot of cameras. That means there's an extra lot of editing to do to keep track of all what I've filmed. You have to look at film in real time because you're looking not just at the video side of it, you're looking at or listening to the audio side of it, and you have to look at the two, and that needs to be done in real time. You can't just wish through something quickly because you may miss something. So it's a very time consuming business doing the editing. I've told you I've got lots of projects on the go. I've got the road trip in Yorkshire coming along. That will have some music over it, some natural sounds. That's quite an interesting one actually. Maybe a bit too long. That's something I haven't spoken about, is the length of videos. Sometimes I think this is 30 minutes, I'd rather it be 25 minutes, or this is 25 minutes, I'd rather it be 20 minutes, or whatever it is. But to actually cut back, you've either got to cut out chunks of it, or you've got to just snip each clip a little bit, and that is very time consuming. So I take the view that most people have a fast forward. If they want to zoom through something more quickly they can do so. But I do hope, and I thank all of you that watch from the start to the end, because that is good. But I appreciate that not everything suits everyone, and that you might just start and then zip through quickly, which is fine. But when I'm trying to get the length about right for the subject matter, I sometimes think this is too long. It's very rare I think this is too short, but sometimes I think it's too long, and what can I do about that? And then I think, well, I've done the best I can to keep it condensed, and it's up to the viewer to really decide how they want to look at it. Well, I really am rambling on now, which wasn't the intention, so I'm going to draw this to a close now. I'm going to thank you all for watching. Hope you're all keeping safe and well, looking after yourselves, your friends and families. And until next time, take the utmost care. Bye for now.